Hello dear friends, welcome back to Godlywood studio again and your favorite program Ek Mulakat. We are all moving forward in life with enthusiasm. There is ambition in our mind and there is happiness in our mind to move forward. Life is extremely enchanting with its twists and turns. And somebody even said, why do you say that sky is the limit when there are already footprints on the moon? So that should be the attitude when we are moving forward in life. Nothing is impossible if we are ready to change something inside, make a shift inside so that we can have everything we want, especially happiness and peace of mind. And that is precisely the purpose of this program Ek Mulakat. And in Ek Mulakat today, I am very happy to introduce you to Dr. S.Guruprasad ji, who is a renowned scientist and who has been the project leader of the BrahMos project, which has been the pride of scientific India. Let us welcome Guruprasad ji to the studio. Guruprasad ji, it is a hearty welcome from all of us in the studio, all of us in Madhuban. Multi-million welcome to this forest of honey.
Thank you very much.
This has been your first visit to Madhuban. I would like to start with this question. You have given the fair share of your life into scientific developments, doing research. And this is an altogether different atmosphere. So how would you relate these two different atmospheres coming into the headquarters of Madhuban?
Coming here, I felt very nice because it is a very, very peaceful environment. And I felt really joyful by coming here and participating in the functions and to interact with so many people who are spiritually oriented, who are in search of peace, and also so many spiritual leaders coming here, and so many people from the society, different people from the society, leaders like that. So it is altogether a different environment to participate in these celebrations and meeting people here. And what I observed here is people are very peaceful. And very joyful. Joyful means they are enthusiastic and they are also greeting you with a smiling face, and altogether I felt very, very relaxing and very, very peaceful.
That's a wonderful experience, Guruji.
Yeah.
I think we are mostly concerned about silence, practicing silence in Brahmakumaris, and science also. We have the experience of great inventors in front of us. They also used to go into deep silence before inventing something important, which came very useful to the lives of people.
Right.
So how do you relate these things? Even in scientific discovery, we need to keep our mind very silent and calm so that we can produce something which becomes useful, which changes the lives of people.
One thing I want to bring out right at the outset is the scientific knowledge, whatever is there. If you observe the nature, there are a lot of in-depth knowledge in the nature. By observation of nature, you can discover. The way, if you take the biological world, how a plant sprouts from a single seed, it sprouts, and then it becomes it grows up. After a few years, exactly like a coconut, this thing, after 5 years or 7 years, it will start giving you the coconuts. So there is a beautiful hidden knowledge within that environment, within that nature. If you have keen observation.
Okay, so what is that observation? Because it will be interesting for the audience to know that from the perspective of a scientist. How would you look at nature, and what lessons have you learned from that?
If you observe nature, you will immediately identify there is a tremendous intelligence in nature, which is not obvious if you just see it. Suppose you see, for example, I just said about a sprouting of a seed. If you search in the seed, you will not find anything. But when it grows up as a plant, what is that making a simple seed becoming a tree, and a particular tree? And a particular variety. Suppose if you take a mango seed, you will not be able to tell what exactly is going to come out of it. What kind of, what variety, what taste.
The whole tree is inside the seed. That itself is a phenomenal kind of thing. It opens up the possibilities of something radical which can change human life, because every soul has everything inside it which needs to be brought out so that lives become wonderful.
The knowledge is already there somewhere inside. The code, you can call it as, there is a code. How it is there, we do not know possibly, and it comes out like a bird takes a birth from the one single egg, and how it becomes different cells, different tissues. So it is a thing to wonder how it is happening. So all that somewhere that intelligence is on work, and that intelligence is what we call as God. That is what the supreme intelligence is at work. You can see that afterwards it is not an eternal thing. It grows, it becomes, and then it produces it will reproduce, and then it becomes old, and whatever, like human beings also. If you see all these things, there is a tremendous knowledge at work, and which we can identify as God himself or herself.
Something wonderful you said. There is an intelligence behind everything, which is running everything. And as you said, in nature it is clearly evident. But in human life also, there should be an intelligence working behind. There should be certain principles and laws of living, where now human beings seems to be going a little bit away from it, losing track of their original nature. So why this problem is happening, and how can we find a solution for this?
I will start with ourselves. See how much we consciously understand our own body. In fact, we do not know what is there inside, how it is functioning inside. We digest food without being consciously not making effort. And the heart is beating whatever the rate it wants to beat, it needs to beat. It is doing all the work without our conscious effort or conscious knowledge. So what is that which is sitting inside and making it do? We cannot take it granted. There is an intelligence which is at work. The world is not an occurrence. It is not by accident. It is not by some chance. It has been created, and it is that creation, whatever has created it, whatever is this thing, that is nothing but the God which pervades the entire universe. So that is my belief. The science is nothing but discovering how things are happening. How a plant grows, how the cell, this thing, if for a biologist, the biochemistry of the cell becomes important. He will keep on discovering on how it is happening. For an engineer, how the structural material is working, how a particular function of or a scientific principle is behind it. So that becomes important. It is only discovering of what is there. So the whole scientific principles is nothing but discovering something exists and understanding consciously. But if you see the amount of knowledge which is there in the nature, it is tremendous compared to whatever knowledge consciously we have. So that is where the spirituality comes into play.
Guruprasad ji, even now quantum physics, which is considered to be the latest advanced stage of physics, it is coming closer and closer to spirituality, which our CS propagated some 2500 years ago. And there are scientists like Louis Pasteur, Albert Einstein, and Charles Darwin in his later stages. He was also coming back to spirituality. Even if we have examples like this, still there is a problem running in the society, which is propagated by a group of scientists maybe. And there are many people which promotes that kind of mentality, that God and the study about the self is not that necessary. If you understand the laws of the nature, the material things, that is more than enough to live. But we have been, which can be called the Newtonian way of looking at the world. But propagating that, following that path, there has been a lot of disturbance and sorrow in the world. So isn't it time now, just like you said, to shift from the material to the spiritual? Because the problems in the world seems to be just circulating the whole earth right now. How can we make this shift possible in the minds of people?
Okay, I think I will answer it in two ways. Firstly, we have to identify not only this creation is utterly diversified. In terms of whatever creation you see, it is all, everything is becoming, has been created as a unique. Every human being is unique, not only in his thinking, physically also. And similarly, the diversity is diversity in opinion, and diversity in culture, diversity in everything. You will see in our country only so much we are diversified, but we are united by our spiritual thinking. So similarly, the diversification is the nature of the world. That is how God wants it, and that is how the different opinions and different cultures, different thought processes are all there. But at the same time, it is very important to understand that within this diversity, the universal truth you can call whatever it is. The scientific discoveries don't conflict with the universal knowledge, whatever supreme intelligence you are seeing. The scientific, all the scientific theories, all the scientific experiments or research, whatever is going on, it should discover how and why this is happening, to understand the nature, this thing. I think that is very important. All the progress we have made in the scientific field is because of this quest for knowledge. And the quest for knowledge is part of our making. God has created us. Yes, definitely there is a creator and God has created us. God has created us to do this. So that scientific temper and scientific quest are part of our growth. And definitely we have to accept there will be some differences of opinions, and we have to accept it, and it is part of the system which has been created.
The beautiful way of putting it. I think you are giving us altogether a different perspective to it. Guruprasad ji, being a scientific person, you also might have came across many struggles in their life. What spiritual value did you use at that time to cross over it, so that problems can be solved, and it will be an inspiration for our viewers also, when someone in a high office, how they overcame their problems, it will be an inspiration.
I think you have touched a very, very important aspect of life, one's life itself. If you see, there will be in fact no person without a problem. We are always, nobody can be there 100% happy all the time. It is by experience, and everybody's experience. Great spiritual masters have undergone some struggle, at some point of time. Like if you take Sri Ram, he went for Vanvas, like that. No, he was in exile himself. Everybody faced problems. So human beings, you are bound to have problems, and you are bound to have solutions also. So one thing very important to understand is, with the spiritual knowledge, with the knowledge of spirit, that there is something which is driving force, which is within us, and the deep intelligence is there to guide you whenever it is required. With that knowledge, I think we can overcome most of our problems, or we can always take from some knowledgeable people some knowledge, some guidance. It is always available. I believe in this present day world, where the progress and change are so rapid, the scientific thinking is there, and the scientific progress is there, and there are new problems because of certain things coming in, because of world becoming smaller also there are some problems. The only solution for all those things is the spiritual attitude and the peace which the spiritual attitude gives. That is very, very important.
Guruprasad ji, looking into the educational system especially, because since being a scientist, you can tell exactly how the educational system is placed in the world right now. It is becoming more and more left brain oriented. It has been so, and it is becoming more and more so in the coming years. So such an education where you give more importance and prominence to the logical way of thinking, which is essential for the material progress, of course, but forgetting altogether about the other part, the emotional part, the imaginative part, where the values and other things come in. So is it rightly balanced? There is some off-balanced things which is happening in the educational system, and how do you look at this problem? Because our children, when they grow up with a left brain oriented nature, logically trying to solve all problems with their head rather than with their heart. Sometimes they get stuck in life at some point. How can we bring about a change in this system?
I think it is a wonderful question. I will try to answer it the way I think. My opinion, I will tell you. The general opinion of youngsters is the spirituality and spiritual knowledge is for older people.
Definitely.
Which I do not agree. I think the children have to be introduced into spiritual knowledge. Spirituality is not about giving up things, not about giving up your everything and you become a saint. It is not that. Spiritual knowledge gives you to lead your life in a very, very meaningful and a productive manner, so that you become very, very useful for the society, and also you will pursue your goals and reach your goals. So that is what the spirituality provides for. I think if you introduce at least some techniques like meditation and other things as part of education, it is going to lead to a good society in the future. And children will get that internal strength. Yes, there is some higher energy which is there. First of all, that belief will come. That energy is guiding us, and that is where to look for. And there are certain spiritual practices like meditation. I don't call it as entirely as a spiritual practice. It can be, you can call it as a psychological practice. I have no problem in telling it. Like you practice yoga, like yoga, meditation, pranayam. These are our ancient Indian traditional knowledge, which has been missed out in our education system. I think by introduction of, and they don't belong to any religion. In fact, there was no religion when this came. So these three aspects, if 3 or 4 of these aspects come out, and then allow them to make their own conclusions. Think, you need not stuff them with a lot of knowledge. Explore them to know it themselves. You learn by doing, rather than first mug up the scientific definition or the whatever the law, and then try and go and see in a laboratory. So let them see it in the laboratory and then conclude, yes, this is how it works. I think that by allowing the children in the schools to explore things, more of outside activities, more of laboratory activities rather than classroom activities, I think that will be a very good education system. And if you include this kind of practices and knowledge in the schools, I think our society will become very, very powerful, very, very energetic.
Definitely, Guruprasad ji. In an unofficial level and informal level, these efforts are already going on on behalf of the Brahmakumaris.
Wonderful.
Classes in schools are going on everywhere. I think if the government also focused in this area, I think great revolutionary changes can be brought about. Something you said caught my attention, which is very important. You said about the difference between spirituality and religion, especially.
Yes.
When we understand spirituality in the right perspective, it is not actual religion. Religion is just a framework, and we need the spiritual essence to make our lives better. Maybe with that understanding, this problem of scientists and scientific people going away from spiritual practices can be corrected, because we even have scientists who have written books on why God is not necessary. That is going to a dangerous way of living, I think. So when we if we can extract the essence, that is spirituality, and imbibe it in our own life, that can be an inspiration to many people in the scientific arena. They can also come closer and closer to spiritual values.
Correct. Absolutely. See, the diversity and the thinking is also part of nature. Like earlier I said, it has been part of the nature. So just because somebody doesn't accept our thinking, our opinion, we need not treat them as alliance against us. We need not take them too seriously. What I tell is, don't take them too seriously, because it is their right of opinion. They have formed their own opinion, and it is because of their own imagination of God. It is limited by their own imagination. There is a way of seeing God. You can see God in every person. This is what every religion also has to. Another important part, when we talked about religion and this thing, if you take this word dharma, dharma, the translation of dharma is not religion. I think it is a misused or misquoted word.
Mostly
Dharma
misinterpreted, we can say.
Yes, actual meaning of dharma is the duty. The duty is dharma. Whatever you need to do rightfully, righteously and correctly is dharma. It is not religion. Spirituality is common for everybody. It is because we believe there is a spirit. That is why spirituality. Everybody exists. The religions have come much later than which we have come. The human evolution took place first and then afterwards religion has come. But spirit always existed. It was eternal always. So this is what I want to express for your
that was beautiful. Religion is just a framework, just a way to show to people this is how we should live. This is how we should perform our duties.
Correct.
And spirituality, the values, the way of living, looking at the positivity of people, being happy all the time. And these are all the foundation values which you need to concentrate into. Guruprasad ji, there were many more questions in my mind, but there is a restriction of time also. So we have to end this session. It was going very interesting. And thanks a lot from behalf of all our viewers for taking time from your busy schedule, coming into the centenary celebration of Dadi Janki and coming into Madhuban, coming into Godlywood studio especially to give such a wonderful talk on many important issues. Thanks a lot once again from the bottom of our heart.
Thank you very much.
So that's all for today, friends. That has been a wonderful conversation. The most important point of today, I think, there should be a convergence between science and spirituality. And when that convergence comes, as Einstein has already said, science is blind without spirituality and spirituality is lame without the scientific outlook. So with that scientific outlook in mind, let us probe spirituality as a science and definitely our lives can get better. With that note, we end today's show. Thanks for being with us. Until we are back again with another wonderful episode of Ek Mulakat with another wonderful personality, it's a goodbye from all of us.